Good morning and welcome to Cheche. It's the program where opinion counts, and we're live on Citizen TV. I'm Udwa Kamimo. Well, the Supreme Court this morning hears a mention in the landmark case challenging the results of the presidential election and the declaration of Uhuru Kenyatta as the winner of that contest. So you could say that our national politics at the moment is in limbo, pending the final ruling from the country's highest court. Elsewhere, we're preparing for the gazettement of names. Those in other executive and positions have been asked to resign in order to be sworn in, and we're all waiting to find out where they'll sit. Members of Parliament and the Senates will sit. Well, one of the people waiting to be sworn in is Kipchumba Murkomen. Many of you will know him as a law professor, one of the people who helped draft the Constitution, and an analyst. Over the next, maybe not quite 5 years, but 4 years or so, we'll get to know him as the senator for Elgeyo Marakwet. Mutegi Njau of Citizen TV hasn't gone into politics. He's here in the Cheche studio.
Never go to politics.
Offering us his opinion and analysis at the state of the state of the country that we find ourselves in. So good morning and welcome to Cheche. Kipchumba, congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel to have beaten the total man of Kenyan politics, Nicholas Biwott, who was for years a very huge figure on the political landscape?
I was very happy that finally people accepted that we can change from what we used to do to something new, and we move our county and country forward. So I was very happy, but of course that excitement is short-lived, because I know also it comes with huge responsibility and expectations from the people.
We'll come to the responsibility and expectations in a minute, but we know that you and your fellow senators are pretty much in charge of devolution, looking after the resource allocation. What do you see as the most pressing concern? The most immediate priority for the Senate?
The most immediate priority for Senate is to facilitate transition to devolution, to quickly work with a transition authority, and to ensure that national government, previously central government, will no longer behave as central government. You have seen that it's comical. I saw in the newspaper, it would be true or not, but I think it's true because I talked to my friend from Kitui County, that the governor of Kitui was being denied a facility by
county commissioner.
Not only county commissioner, it was a department, I think, at the water something, and it was comical because in Schedule 4 of the Constitution, Part 2, the function of water and sanitation is a function of county governor. County government, meaning that the governor will superintend upon all those institutions. It was really funny that they were denying their boss an opportunity to get an office. And I think as soon as we get to office, after we're sworn in, one of the things is to ensure that transition to devolved governance is smooth, resources are given to county governments, and they are protected, because that's our function as Senate. So,
I think I'll come to the devolution later on, but I would like to talk about your politics. First of all, why did you choose to be, as a young person, to be a senator, which is seen as an elder's retirement place, and not a governor? And two, what is the politics of Elgeyo Marakwet? Because I thought Biwott was very close to the former President Moi, and you can see Gideon was elected, but not Biwott. I don't know what Moi former president played in the politics of your county.
Let's break down the questions, yeah?
Yes.
You're one of the youngest senators.
Yes, yeah.
Why did you choose the senator, not the governorship?
You had alluded earlier that I was one of the persons that involved in the Constitution, but specifically I was involved in the legislation and devolution. I did sit in the task force on devolved government. I chaired the task force team that went to 14 counties in Rift Valley, and as I listened to the people for all that 1 year, I realized that there was misconception as to the role of senator. As a law scholar, I had studied why devolution collapsed in 1960s, the federalism. And one of the key reasons was because there was a weak Senate. In fact, the most learned and exposed legislators were in National Assembly, the likes of Tom Mboya, who were ministers and so forth. And then the Senate was robbed of intellectual discourse and people who would be able to inform the protection of devolution. And therefore, through propaganda, the National Assembly then, the Lower House, was able to take the nation against the devolution, and ultimately it collapsed. So I said, I want to be one person that will be depended upon by the people of this country to protect devolution and to deal with the misconception that Senate was going to be a club of retirees or people who want to revive their political careers, or that Senate was just going to be a place where you sleep and relax. In fact, someone told us that, I remember someone telling me, Senate is a place for rich people. It's a house of lords. It's a place where
that's a perception.
It's a place where when you have received everything in your life, you go and have a bird's eye view of those who are struggling coming up. I really wanted to take it on. Initially, I knew that it was going to be a tough task. I was coming against a billionaire, but I thought it was important to make a point. But as I continued doing that for over a year, the people also came along with me, and I think I'm very, very grateful and I appreciate the people of Elgeyo Marakwet County for their maturity, for going against the grain and voting me so that I can be useful not only to my county but the country.
But isn't it the Senate that what you have said is not going to be? You have still some very old people who are in the Senate who are retired politicians. Apart from the few of you who are young and the intellectuals, lawyers, I want to imagine that the majority, I have not looked at the list, the old times.
Well,
old timers.
Yes, but you can still see, although we have a few old people, the likes Mutula Kilonzo, James Orengo, you can still see they have passion for devolution. And people like, Gigi Kariuki.
Yeah, that's the one that I think about.
Well, I hope the reason why they were voted was not because they are old from where they came from. Perhaps the people saw the passion that although they were physically old, they still had the passion to serve and the capacity to protect devolution. I really respect them. Some of the lawyers like James Orengo, the reason why some of us went to legal practice, to the law, because when I was in high school, I used to admire his debating skills, the manner in which he was taking Kanu government. Remember, I came from radicalism and so forth. I'm very, very happy to sit with them in the Senate, with people like Kiraitu Murungi, people like
we hope you don't get disappointed.
I'm sure that they have got used to the system, and perhaps, the fire's gone down. I hope the young of myself, Sang from Nandi, Meli from Wasinkishu, Omar Hassan, Kithure Kindiki, will inject in them more fire so that all of us can do a good job at the Senate.
Okay.
Now let's go back to the devolution kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, you asked a question actually about local politics.
The local politics, he has explained a little bit, not entirely. What you then address is the question of Moi, the role of Moi in that. That election.
Gideon Moi also is my fellow senator, so I do not know the reasons why he was elected, but I think the people of Baringo must have met certain consideration, including the track record of his father and whatever he did for this first term as a member of parliament.
What about the old man?
But the challenge was there. The former president is my friend.
Did he play a role?
Yes, he did. He campaigned for his friend, Nicholas Biwott.
That's what I was actually.
He came there and endorsed him, but I think it was too late. The more even he came to endorse him, the contrast was very clear, that the competition was between new and old. Moi, by the way, and this is how I told people at home, in 1979, when I was being born, Moi came to Elgeyo Marakwet County and requested the people of Keyo to give them a young man so that he can come to Parliament and subsequently to Cabinet to assist him in running government. That young man was Nicholas Biwott. The people agreed. He was voted in 1979. He immediately went to Cabinet. He served for 24 years. So I told the people there was nothing wrong if they give another young man to work with their other son, William Ruto, and I also assist in building a government that will serve the country.
What about now? We go back to the devolution aspect of it.
Yes.
It looks to me as if there are certain people in government, and particularly the office of president, who are thinking the way you are not thinking. That they think the central government still has a major role to play in county government. That's why you see, for instance, a statement from the head of civil service that governors will have to sign a performance contract with the head of civil service or with the. And some civil servant actually arguing to me, with me. He told me, why can't they sign the performance contract? They are getting money, revenue from the central government. Therefore, they must account for that money. The way to account for that money is for them to sign a performance contract. Yeah. Is that logical argument?
In my short stint in the working with government in the task force of devolved government, I realized that we passed a constitution that no one read. People never appreciated the reasons why we passed the constitution. Some of them were not legal. They were, perhaps the president had made up his mind that we must pass the constitution. All who are behind him accepted. So the challenge is that we have changed in terms of law, but we haven't changed the mind. Yeah. And change is about also, there are people who are generally resistant to change. So people have this misconception that governors are county council chairs. And I remember a senior government official at that time at the task force telling us that those are just glorified local authorities, which is not true. So everybody, including the head of public service, is going through a process of change. That is why we put in Article 96 that the Senate shall come in to protect devolution. We shall be seriously and through the required procedures under the standing orders, will be using our power given by the people to ensure that we remind these people and educate them and assist them to be able to protect county governments. By the way, the performance contract that a governor signs is the same performance contract that a senator signs. It is that policy that you went selling to the people, and now when you come to office, you need to implement. So there is no better performance contract than the manifesto that you shared with the people, and which will be used to mark your performance in after your 5 years term. The difference between local authorities and counties is that these are governments. I mean, the Constitution, Article 6, talks about the sovereign power shall be exercised at two levels, the national and county. County governments have been allocated specific functions in Schedule 4, and they are very serious functions. They have been protected. They do not get orders from national government. In fact, Article 6 and Article 186 talks about relationship between national and county government, and it says that the relationship will be mutual respect. And there's explanation of to what's mutual respect in Article 187. And if you go to Intergovernmental Relations Act, one of the legislation we have drafted, we have provided institutions of relationship between national and county government for all of us to appreciate that counties are exercising sovereign power, cannot take any order. It is illegal if any order comes from national government to county. It cannot. All orders come and are derived from the law because these institutions are exercising sovereign power, the same the president is exercising sovereign power that's given by the people.
Now, there are certain functions of the central government that are to be performed with counties.
Yes.
Those people who are performing those functions of national government in county level, whom do they answer to?
They answer to their respective ministries.
So isn't there conflict, therefore?
It's not necessarily conflict, but it can easily arise. Yes. Conflict can arise, and that's why we have Intergovernmental Relations Act, so that should there be a serious conflict, we have a tribunal set up there that it's going to solve those disputes. But we don't need to reach there just because we have become obstinate and not willing to do the right things. I mean, I was one person who kept the debate as to the relationship between county commissioners, provincial administration, county governments. It's a long debate. I mean, I'm sure that it's one of the things that we have to deal with when we go to Senate, because there's a misconception that county commissioner can be even equated by the governor. You cannot equate them.
They operate as we speak.
Yeah.
As we are speaking now, county commissioners are behaving as if they are senior to governors.
That is what I'm saying.
And it is happening, and that's why you have serious problems of allocation of space and office.
Wait until
as we speak.
Wait until wait until the Senate is operating.
Yes.
You will see those things quickly fading.
Take us through the
because once if the national government does not cooperate with county governments and cooperate with the Senate, we can pass a legislation scrapping so many institutions. Right. So they have to cooperate.
Take us through your operation schedule, because at the moment you're waiting for physical facilities. You're temporarily housed at KICC. So when do we expect the Senate to sit for the first time? start operating? What needs to happen?
Nothing much except to be sworn in. The Constitution says we must be sworn in before 4th. The rumor has it that we'll be sworn on 27 or 28. I'm not so sure. It's not been gazetted. Our names have been gazetted, dated 13th of this month, but the day for being sworn in has not been gazetted, so we are waiting for that. After we are sworn in, of course, we'll elect the speaker, and then we'll perhaps take a break and then come into normal business. I am informed that we shall operate, as you said, from KICC. And I really don't, I mean, as the permanent facilities being renovated, I don't think it matters so much where we'll operate from, as long as public know where to find us, but we have to deliver services. Okay,
we'll have to take a break now. Yeah. You're watching Cheche live on Citizen TV. Our guest this morning is the Senator-elect for Elgeyo-Marakwet County, Kipchumba Murkomen. Many of you have been sending in your text messages congratulating him on his win and becoming one of the youngest senators in Kenya. If you've got any questions for him, you can SMS 2442 or tweet Cheche_TV. When we come back, we'll address the intrigues already forming within the Senate.